And then I just started the recording. Do I know what that means? No. And do I know if it will be recording my computer? No. Or if it's like us individually. Because while I did test this out, I did not test the recording feature. So that's on me. And now I'm realizing how dumb that was. Welcome to my random kitchen in our temporary home this week. I am Brittany Bass, a full-time passenger seat princess and operations manager of Matt Becker Fishing. For those of you who don't know me yet, I am also Matt Becker's girlfriend. He is a professional bass fisherman on the Bass Pro Tour with Major League Fishing, and we are at the end of our second season on that tour. So super exciting, super stressful, but very, very fun. And he is the reason why I am always in these random kitchens. So we travel all over the country for that. And why I wanted to start this channel and podcast. So I get to bring you some of the best wives, fiancés, and girlfriends, even some moms, to talk about their side of life and all the behind the scenes goodness that goes into making a tournament season very successful and great. So this is actually episode 27 of Random Kitchens. I know. Welcome back, everybody. So this is our first episode into different kitchens. Mine's a little random. Hers isn't so random, but we'll get into that. So bear with us as this is our first recorded / streaming figuring it out session. So super pumped, but today I'm very excited to introduce you guys to one of our housemates by extension, and also my wonderful streaming Tuscany pig, but more importantly, epic boy mom, local business owner, and all over boss babe. So welcome this awesome wife of BPT professional angler Matt Stefan. This is Sara Stefan. So welcome.
Hi everyone. Welcome to my home, my kitchen.
Your actual kitchen.
Yes.
It is so exciting. So while we are recording and streaming right now, she is in her actual kitchen, and I am somewhere in New York in another random kitchen. So super exciting. We are heading into our last stage on the Bass Pro Tour. So insane, crazy. Are you feeling good? Feeling medium? Feeling excited?
For this last stage?
Yes.
Yeah, this is a nerve-wracking one. Matt is on the bubble. He's a rookie, and the rules are really not set up to give rookies a whole lot of leeway. So he needs to do really well in this one to requalify for next year. And I say he's a rookie. He's really not a rookie. I'm sure we'll get into that. But this is just his first year on the BPT. So we need to requalify. So he's going to be on his way to you tomorrow.
Yes. So when this episode airs, just start praying is basically everyone out there. We need lots of good vibes because we love our house. So,
yes.
But yes, we will get into it. As she said, he is a rookie on the Bass Pro Tour, but not a rookie at bass fishing, because if you follow bass fishing at all, you know it always changes, and there is always changes to where the levels are, what the circuits are, where the tours are, all of it. So we're going to get into all of that. But I'm very excited you're here. And as you guys know, I started this podcast so everyone can meet each other, meaning the Bass Wives, but then also you guys meet us, and then we meet each other, because we are always in different places. And with that, so for people who do not know you, let's start from the top. Where are you, or who are you? Where are you from, and where do you work?
So I am Sara Stefan. I am married to Matt Stefan. And we have two little boys, Hank and Duke.
Yes.
And I am physically located in central Wisconsin. So technically we live in Junction City, Wisconsin, which is a little speck outside of a medium-sized 30,000 person town, right in the middle of the state of Wisconsin. And what do I do? Is that the other thing?
What do you do? Yes.
What do I not do?
I know.
Is probably a better question. So I'm a mom. I'm a bass fishing wife. I am a small business owner, and yeah, I do all the things.
In your small business, what is it?
So I'm a chiropractor. So
Yes.
I have been in practice for 18 years, and my location that I run now, I'm the sole practitioner in it, and I've had it. This is my 11th year. So I really, really, really love what I do, and gives me a lot of purpose in life, along with,
All
bass
of your
fishing
other
and
jobs.
boys. Yeah, and
Yes.
all the other stuff.
So many jobs. I know. I was literally talking to my mom about this the other day, like how, being a wife, being a mother is like a full-time job in its own, and then like having a full-time job on top of that and like a full-time career on top of that is just insane. And I don't think unless you're doing it, you can even understand. Because I was talking to her about her. She's a dental hygienist, but she obviously
Yeah.
had kids and went back to school on top of that. I'm like, what kind of crazy person can handle all that? Like it is so much. It's so much. So I'm proud of you. I can't believe that you do it all and obviously do it so well. So
Oh, thank you.
but I'm very proud of you and your business.
Yeah, well, and the nice thing about owning your own business, I would be a terrible employee because I just, I don't like
Following in
restrictions and being told what to do and where to go and whatever. So
Yeah.
that's the nice thing about owning my own business is I can set my hours. So, in the last few years, I've kind of tweaked my hours and I get to be home a lot. Not necessarily in the evenings, like we don't always have dinners together, but Wednesdays I'm at home a lot. Fridays I don't see patients. That's really nice. So I work and I love what I do, but it's not, it doesn't dictate my life to the point where I'm working 50, 60 hours a week. I wouldn't do very well with that.
Yeah, no, I love that. You can create a work-life balance or like force yourself into a work-life balance when you have that flexibility.
Yeah.
Because I feel like definitely takes up a lot of people's lives, and I am a workaholic, so I totally understand that. And when I was in the corporate world, they definitely took advantage of that in the best way possible. But yeah, I'm glad that you can do that because that's half of the battle is trying to figure
Yeah.
out life and work.
Yeah.
Okay, so how many years have you and Matt been fishing on a national circuit? And we'll get into like the nitty gritty of it, but like how many total years?
I was thinking about this. And I was going to ask him and I forgot. But I'm pretty sure this was year 14.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So he's been fishing professionally or at the professional level for the last 14 years. So that's why I said he's not a rookie.
Yeah.
He's been in FLW for all of those years. Last year, there's been a lot of, as everyone who probably watches this knows, so many changes in the bass fishing world in the last 5, 6 years. And so he fished invitationals until last year he qualified for the BPT, which is where we really truly feel he deserves to be. So it feels really good to have finally gotten there, and now we need to stay there.
Yes. One more tournament. It'll be good. We're
Yeah.
up north. We're up
Yes, yeah, I know.
So, do you travel with him?
I would love to travel more with Matt, but because I run my own office, I really can't take the time away as much as I'd want to. Plus, I've got the boys. If they're in school, and if I homeschooled or did something like that, which we've talked about, but we've just never taken that jump. So in previous years, anytime there's a big championship or a big tournament, or if it's close, like in La Crosse, Wisconsin, they've had a few tournaments in La Crosse, Wisconsin, we will for sure go. Like I was with you at Red Crest earlier this year in Birmingham, Alabama. I've been with the boys to, I'm trying to think of, Hank was one, I think, when we were in Murray, Lake Murray and Columbia, South Carolina. So whenever we can, we travel, but it's just, it gets really difficult.
Nope, that makes total sense. I always like to ask, and obviously you guys know that I do know her because we are housemates. So I ask some of the questions for the benefit of everyone. But you guys know there's all different versions of bass families, and the way that we do this is not consistent, and it shouldn't be. And wildly successful on all different fronts and like how people do it, which is why I like having all of the different ladies on, because really every family does it totally different. And I have obviously ladies that have loved the homeschooling route, and then ladies that also didn't like it because they thought it was more of like putting their kids into their father's dream versus letting them have their own, so it's kind of like all over the board on that as well, and like what they thought worked and worked well. So I don't think that there's any rhyme or reason or wrong or right with as far as the traveling. Do you, when you come to tournaments, do you like being at the tournament, or is it
Oh, I
like,
love it.
yeah, I know.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. I think, the times that I've traveled, a lot of times it's, like I said, it's for championships. And so it's not just us traveling, it's Matt's parents, or it's his brother and sister-in-law and our nephews are coming, so there's a larger party.
You have a whole crew.
Yeah, and I think that is what stresses Matt out. Like, I think if it was just us, I think it would be okay. But he's got such a routine. These anglers have such a routine when they get into the tournament weeks, which they need to do to be successful. But we kind of throw him off because he's not used to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love it. I love watching him do what he does because he's so good at it. And I've said this a bazillion times before, I just feel like he was put on this planet to be a fisherman. And so to be able to watch him do it and succeed at it and enjoy it, it's inspiring, and it's fun to be around. So I wish we could do more. And even like at times I'm like, oh, they're going to be in Kentucky Lake next year. I could totally make that happen. And then I look at it realistically and I'm like, oh, that's still like a 12-hour drive, for us. So that's not really realistic.
No,
for me to
not
travel with the
ideal.
boys.
Yeah, Wisconsin is just really far. But
Yeah,
I
I
do
know.
think, I mean, like, going to like one event a year, like, I think it's awesome because then, like you said, it's Red Crest or it's something big, like heavy hitters, I'm sure next year will be one y'all want to end up going to, just because it's like a new lake, but it's also just like a fun event
Yeah.
or something like that, or going, to Red Crest with the boys or whatever. But I always think it's fun because then they can see him too, like in his little element.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And they're like addicted to, which we'll get in a little bit. So let me stop real quick. I'm trying to stay consistent with these. So like the beginning will be like y'all's love life and life, and then life, y'all's family life, and then we'll take a break, and then we'll do tournament life. But also with that, I've been wanting or adding in pictures of the family. So right here, like over our faces, I'm just going to add some of the pictures that you'll hopefully send me after this, or I can stalk your Facebook, but some pictures in so you guys can see them together, Matt and like what his tournament boat looks like, but then also what him and his family look like, so you guys can connect who you see on TV with who we're talking to currently. So there'll be a bunch of pictures flashing right now. But with that being said, let's get into a little bit about you first, and then we'll do y'all. So what is something you do every day without fail?
Can I have two things?
Yes.
Okay, so I almost always start every day with a workout, and I end every day with a gratitude log. So those are two things, like, without fail. Those are things I've done for years, both of them.
Gratitude log, like in a journal?
No, actually, I have an app on my phone, and so I can add pictures, and I can add. I typically just type in 5 things, and if you looked at it, these words might not mean anything to you, but I just type in 5 words that I reflect on my day, that I'm grateful for, and then it gives me a quote, and then I'm done with that. But I literally have had the same gratitude app for, I would say, a decade. I'm not even kidding. I mean, I've
And
been
it
forever.
keeps them, so you could go back and look
Yeah.
at. Oh, that's crazy. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And it takes all the pictures that I've input, and it puts it behind the quote every day. So every once in a while, like, the picture will pop up and I'll be like, oh, I forgot about that, or something, it'll be like, or like there was one day, I've got a lot of Matt fishing, and so there was one day when he had his trophy he was hoisting up, and it was kind of a particularly bad day, and I just turned my phone to Matt and I was like, look at this quote, and and it was, so yeah, that's something
Yeah,
I always do.
I love that. I actually will probably have to get that app from you. I really
I
love
think
that. Because I've like tried to do journals. Like I love like people will do like give thanks, you know, kind of at the end of the day, like what they were thankful for. And I haven't found anything that I can be like consistent with, but I haven't even looked into app options.
Yeah,
So
it's like a minute maybe at the
yeah,
end of your day. And it's,
no, I
yeah,
love that.
I just feel like if you're grateful for what you're grateful for, you can get more to be grateful for
Yeah,
at the end of the
I think
day.
so too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. No, I definitely love that. I 100% will have to try to do that and be consistent. I try to think through it, but it's not the same as like writing it down and being intentional of like thinking over it and just being like
Yeah.
really excited about it. Ooh, I
Yeah.
do love that. So what's something you do just for you? Like if you're like, you know, boys go somewhere else, like what are you gonna do?
I'm either going to bake something or
Ah,
I'm going to read something.
okay. What genre of books do you read, and what is your favorite thing to bake? And I didn't know
Oh,
you
my
were a
favorite thing to
baker.
bake.
I mean, I knew you were a baker, obviously because of M&M bars, but like I didn't know like I thought that that was like a Matt thing, not like a you just really enjoy that thing.
No. I have always loved to bake. Cookies. Hey, look at my cookies fix everything is my sign back there. So if I'm really gonna make anything, it's me cookies.
Yeah.
Chocolate chip cookies. I'm known for my chocolate chip cookies. We actually
So delicious.
every year we send out package or like little cookie packages to all of our sponsors,
Oh
and so I
yeah.
spend like so many hours prepping cookies for all of our sponsors, and we put them together and ship them out. Um, so yeah, I'm always baking. And then if I'm reading, lately I've been into, oh, like just like summer reads. Like I just read
Yeah.
a little, like a sweet little romance book. But I also have Gabrielle Lyon's book on my shelf. Uh, I can't remember what it is, but it's all about
Being a
strength
lion
training
and not
and
a sheep.
yeah, I can't think of it, but yeah, I also like to read so that I can learn.
Yeah. I love that. I mean, I don't know if you know this. I'm like slightly dyslexic. So like reading has always been a struggle. So for me, like I try to read to learn and a lot of it like anything I do, it's like more like money or like money market stuff. But I really read when it has nothing to do with anything and it's like pure like smut romance or like fantasy romance like completely left field and I just get like entrenched like entrenched I guess in it like but that's the only way because otherwise my brain just doesn't process it well. I don't know why. I just
Well, and
go
I think it's just I
so
think it's good because life is so like hard sometimes, and sometimes it's just nice to have a book you can go to and just like have
yeah
an alternate reality and
like
just
live
escape to it for a
another
little while. So
yeah.
yeah,
No, I totally agree. Just live in someone else's version of what their life is for a little bit. It's like how like my mom loves soap operas, and I always thought it was similar. Like she's not a huge reader, but she loves like, you know, As the World Turns, and she could kind of like zone out. It like truly isn't reality, you know. It's not a reality show. It's like very scripted, but it's someone else's stuff that she
are
can
those
just
still on?
Oh yes. I mean, well, so
Really?
As the World Turns is not. That was her favorite. But what is it? Days of Our Lives is still on. The Bold and
Oh
the
my gosh.
Beautiful. Yeah. So and she like legit has them recorded, and I think it's so much better than the other crap that you can watch on TV. I mean, you know, because it's just totally non-realistic. Like, you know, that guy is gonna sleep with that guy's wife and then kill her. Like, somebody's gonna have a heart attack. Like, you know. But it's good.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Abigail asked, she was one of our last guests, and she asked this question, and I don't know why it wasn't in here. It's a random question, but I like it. What is your go-to boat snack? I'm gonna ask everyone in the future.
I like this question, and I have to be true to our sponsors, and I have to say that the best boat snack is Bridgeford beef jerky.
Yes!
So we always have Bridgeford beef jerky in our boat.
And at the house now. We are basically a house sponsored from their food. That's so funny. No, I actually didn't even think that when I wrote this question. I didn't think, like, I wasn't even thinking, obviously, Bridgeford was going to be your answer. But you guys probably are full of Bridgeford. As
We
far
have
as your
some. We don't.
cupboard's
I mean,
always full.
yeah, we have some. It's not like we have cabinets full, but I mean, we always have like little snack packs, which are
Yeah.
perfect.
You should. You should fill a whole cabinet and do like an Instagram reel of it just like falling out on your boys. What do you want, guys?
That'd be good. I need to do
Yeah,
that.
it would. It would be a good Instagram reel. So, as far as your dream life, like when you were a kid, what did you picture and is it this?
I don't know what I pictured as a kid. Like
Yeah.
I don't know like what I wanted as a kid. Yeah, I don't think it was this, right? I mean, we live a very, I don't want to say non-traditional life, but I mean, we have a a man who fishes professionally, which is not that common,
That's
and then we have a female business owner. Um, so I'm very happy with where we are. I love where we are. I wouldn't change anything, but I don't know if I necessarily
Could have thought of it.
expected to be here either.
Could have thought of this life. I know. I feel like if you had given me $1,000,000, I never could have put it together that like this was gonna end up being, my life either.
Yeah.
In a very good way. Like, it's been like surprising and just amazing along the way, but still like I mean, it's kind of like the people that are like underwater basket weavers. How did you get there? They don't know. Not that that's a thing, but it could be a thing. You just never know. At this point, it could be an Olympic sport because breakdancing is, among other things, CrossFit kayaking, all these things. But so, how did you get here? Tell me how you guys met.
We'd have to go back a few years here, Brittany. So Matt and I are college sweethearts. So we lived in the same dorm in 1998 when we were freshmen, and we've been together since 1999. So we have been together forever, and that's where I think this trajectory is probably more organic for me than for you because Matt and I have grown together, right?
Yes.
So he fished locally. I mean, he fished all the time, but he would fish locally, and then he fished regionally, and then then he went up to the professional level. So this has just been like a gradual step for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we've been together for over half our
25
lives.
years?
Yeah,
It's actually,
Isn't
y'all
that
been
long?
together
Oh, God.
longer than
That's-
you've been apart, right?
yeah,
That's insane.
yeah.
I mean, it's awesome, obviously, but that's like so insane to think about. What is isn't 25 like a paper anniversary or something, or like a silver anniversary, or?
Well, we haven't been married that long. We've only been married
Oh, okay.
17 years. We've been together 25, but we've been married
Ah.
17.
Oh,
So-
that's still pretty good. Did you guys have a big or small wedding?
I'd say it was medium size, but it was, I don't know if you know this, Brittany, but it was a perfect bass fishing wedding. We got married on our bass boat in the middle
No,
of the lake.
you didn't.
Yes, we did. We had like
No, I didn't know this. I haven't heard this story at all, actually, so I was very excited to ask.
Yeah, so we got married in Hayward, Wisconsin, which is Northwoods, Wisconsin. And we got married in the middle of the Chippewa Flowage, which is a pretty decent sized body of water. And yeah, so we had the lawyer or the attorney or whatever it was, guy on our boat with us. And then we tooled out and we had 8 or 9, I can't remember because it's been 17 years. But we had 8 or 9 pontoons following with us with all of our family and friends. And they circled us, and yeah, we were like in this little bay, so it was really protected, and it was fun.
Oh, that's awesome. Was it wrapped, his boat?
No, I had to think about that. No, that was before it was wrapped. So it was a little. We've run skeeters his entire career. We've always had a skeeter. So it was a skeeter boat and not wrapped. It was red and white and black.
Were those your wedding colors too, or did you try to match
No.
them at all? No.
No, no. I mean, we were kind of non-traditional. We didn't have anyone stand up for us. We just so we didn't
Well,
necessarily
no,
have
it's
wedding colors.
yeah, y'all's personal choice. You don't have to have
Yeah,
anybody stand up with you.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But it was fun. I mean, we had some of my favorite pictures are um, my college friends thought it'd be funny to pretend that they were stranded as we were going back in, and they're like, "Help, help!" And so Matt's like, "Oh, watch this." So we like get in front of him, and he trims the motor up, and then they kind of figure out what's coming, and he guns it, and but we were just far enough away where he knew
It
that
didn't
that
hit him,
wasn't going to
yeah.
actually hit him, but it
Oh my
was yeah,
Yeah,
we had
I
a good
need
day.
some of those pictures for sure. That's like one of those moments I feel like I wish that you guys had a drone so you could have seen it from above, like what it looked like with the circle of pontoons and stuff. And
Yeah.
obviously, I don't think they had drones back then.
I was gonna say this was 17 years ago, so
Yeah.
even getting a picture is like hard because I don't have like a digital copy of any
No,
of my
it's like
pictures. I just have
photographs,
like
right?
physical copies, you know?
Yeah. Oh, dang. Whew. I mean, not poof like forever, but like, whew. Can't believe it. I didn't know that. I don't know how I didn't know that because obviously he's like a huge proponent of like knowing everything about your person before you get married. And because we talk about obviously like Matt and I have traveled together for 4 years, but some of the other relationships that we know of, like they have chosen that they're going to probably get married before they have lived together or before they have really ever been in the same state together for a long term. And he's like, no, 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 no. He's like, you gotta know them in and out, upside down. Because I think it was 8 years before he asked you to marry him, right?
Yeah, it was like 7 or something. Yeah, I think we
Yeah.
were, yeah. But again, I mean, we were together in college, and
Yeah.
then after college, he moved back to Chicago, where he's born and raised. He's born and raised in the city. And so he was in Chicago, while I went over to Iowa for my chiropractic degree. So chiropractic school
Oh.
is 3.5 years long. So we did long distance for that 3.5 years, 4 years, whatever it was.
And that's
And
far, Iowa to Chicago.
it was like, was it like 3 hours, 3.5 hours? It
Oh,
wasn't
okay.
terrible.
I don't know why I was
But
thinking.
he didn't really mind coming to visit me because it's on the Mississippi River. So we
Uh,
fished a lot because that's where he got his first skeeter, was a dealership in Davenport. It was a skeeter dealership. And yeah, I had a little like 2-room studio, and it had the perfect parking behind, because where do you park a bass boat, right?
yeah.
But like my parking area behind my little apartment was like super long, so he would be able to like back his boat in and just,
Aw,
park it there for the weekends when he would come visit me. So
that is perfect. And you can still fit in there and everything.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So is he like a big sappy romantic guy?
I wouldn't say he's sappy romantic, like you've said in the past. Like it's not like he's got flower petals out, but
Yeah.
he's very thoughtful. He definitely pays attention, and sees small details, and he treats me very well. Like you're the passenger princess. I
Yeah.
feel like I'm his little princess. That's
Oh,
not the right. Princess is probably not the right word. Maybe I'm a queen.
queen.
Am I a
You're this
queen?
damn queen. I know. I was trying to figure out how I could integrate that into passenger seat because I was like, no, no, no. But Matt's like, I don't think you could be a passenger queen. I'm like, no, that's right. I am this truck's queen. I reign over the damn thing, the whole thing. But passenger
Love
seat
it.
princess flows a little bit better for the beginning of this, but. No, I would say, yeah, queen is probably more fitting for you as well. Oh my gosh. So 17 years married, 25 together, and fishing has been a part of basically y'all's whole from start to finish, right? So do you
Yep.
love to go fishing too?
Yeah, I'll go. I mean, I love to be in the boat. I love to be in the water. At this point, I don't really fish that much anymore. primarily because we have Hank and Duke in the boat with us, and Hank is like legit fisherman, and he just turned 8, so he's a little too confident at times. But then Duke, a lot of times if I'm in the boat with the 4 of us, I'm helping Duke fish because he's not as good. He's not as interested in it as Hank is, and so I'll sit on the back with him and I'll fish.
Well, and he's just younger too.
What's that?
He's younger too.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. Oh, but Hank, I mean, we have pictures of Hank. I mean, Hank was reeling in bass at age 2.5.
Okay.
You know, I mean, so whereas Duke really hasn't had that exposure as much as Hank.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, Hank uses a bait caster. I mean, he can. I mean, now he loves spinning rods. But I mean, he's had a lot of hours fishing already for an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love to be in the boat, love to be in the water. But a lot of times if we're out there, I've got a book, or I'm helping the boys. You know, I'm kind of managing stuff so that Matt can maybe get a few casts in here and there.
Yes, and relax a little bit, hopefully.
Yeah.
So what is your best fishing story together? Either you two or you two with the boys. Either or.
Yeah. I'd say, so the first one that comes to mind is when we first started dating. I think he had his dad's boat, and we went out on a lake near our school, our university, and we were out fishing, and this was the first time he'd ever taken me fishing. And I set the hook, and when I set the hook, literally, I think it was a little baby bass, but maybe it was like a bluegill. I don't even remember anymore. But literally, I set the hook, and the fish came flying through the air and landed in the well of the boat.
No!
And I think, yeah. Then in all of my years since then, I've never had that happen ever again, right?
It's so lucky.
But I think Matt probably turned around and was like, "Oh my God, that's the one." Like it was probably just really funny because I wish we kind of had it on camera because it had to have been just comical. Because here he is. I mean, we don't really know each other, but I learned to fish when I was a little kid with my grandpa. You know, so he probably was like, well, this chick's not going to know what she's doing. I'm going to have to teach her how to set the hook or, what I'm doing. And here I set the hook and it just comes, whew,
and you set the hook hard enough that it actually came out the water. Because that's like number one thing to do, apparently. I'm terrible at setting the hook. Matt's like, give him the business. You gave it to him. You gave it to him all the way into the boat. No, I love it. And then, like you said, I know that the boys love it, but Hank loves it most. Is he, like, and we'll kind of get into this a little bit more too, but like when you guys go as a family, is he tournament fishing too, or are you guys just going for like fun fishing?
Well, that's a good question because right now it's a Wednesday night as we're recording this. And the reason it is so quiet in my house right now is because the boys are at a Wednesday night local tournament.
All of them.
Yeah, so it's kind of a circus for Matt. Like he does a really great job of like managing the circus, but he tries to fish and he tries to record a video for his YouTube channel. And then Hank fishes and tries. I mean, we try to keep him out of, wind knots and tangles and getting stuck.
Yes.
But he's pretty good. Like he catches fish on his own. Like he doesn't take the hook out of the bass.
Yeah.
But he can net them, he can catch them, and then he's the snack man. Yeah. So Duke brings toys and snacks, and he manages all of that. And then there are times when, for Wednesday night tournaments, I'll get a call, and it'll be like, "All right, mommy, come get Duke. He's done." And so I'll get Duke and bring him home because it can be a late night. I mean, sometimes they're not home until like 9:30. So in terms of tournament fishing, that's what they do. They also pretend tournament fish here at the house. Hank was on day 3 the other day, and he had 12 pounds, and he had 5 minutes to go, and he had to make it to Saturday, so they pretend fish. We have every stuffed fish you can imagine in our house. We have salmon and walleye and bluegill and bass. We have all the stuffed fish. So
I love that. So they are well prepared.
Yeah. Yeah.
So with him traveling all the time, has that changed like anything as far as family routines, like with the boys, or do you guys kind of keep it consistent and then when he's there, you like add in things?
Yeah. I, I think we've just mm,
And
acclimated to the tournaments over there. I mean, he's been fishing before the boys were even born. So I just, when he's gone, I just know what I need to do. And
yeah,
we have, in the beginning, we had grandmother's help. Now we have a sitter. Um, and so we just kind of have to, I don't want to say get through the weeks because sometimes it's kind of nice when he's gone because it's just the boys and I, we can have our adventures and
yeah,
do some fun things. And then when he comes back, we try to really, we used to make him big posters and signs like "Welcome home, Daddy," and that kind of thing. We haven't done that this year as much. But yeah, then when we're home, we try to really enjoy our time with him. Unlike you guys who travel from place to place to place, Matt goes and comes back. That's the hardest thing for him is it gets harder every year for him to be gone. We were talking about it earlier this year. If you really think about it, he's been gone. So at the time Hank was 7, and the number of fishing tournaments that he's done over the course of Hank's life would add up for him being gone for a full year. So he's been gone, over that course of that 7 years, he was gone for a year of it. And a lot of that obviously sleeping time or time that they're in school, but it's hard on him to be gone.
yeah. Well, and I feel like especially when you put numbers to it, it's like shocking.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
do you guys handle it? Like as far as quality time, like date night stuff. Do you guys have anything you do while he's gone, or like anything, like advice wise? Because like Matt and I are truly terrible at the quality time part, especially while we're traveling. Like we're just bad at it.
Yeah. I travel tournament weeks. I a lot of times this year I got him a pair of earbuds maybe for Father's Day, or I don't remember what I got it for him for, but those have been life changing because he can wear those on practice days and he'll call me. And so I am so not used to hearing from him most of the days to practice. For sure, I don't hear from him during tournament days until the end of the day. So now he'll call and I'll be like, "What's wrong? What happened?"
Yeah, like
And yeah, like what happened? Like, did you lose your lower unit? Like, what's going on? And he's like, no, I'm going through no wake, and I just thought I'd call and check in on you or whatever. And so, in terms of tournament weeks, it's a matter of just kind of getting through it. It's like we talk when we can.
Yeah.
We try to FaceTime with the boys every night so that he can say hi to the boys. When he's home, we switched it from date night to day dates because the boys are both in school now. So I set it up on a monthly basis. I'll put it in our calendar that we're gonna do lunch on like a Thursday. So we'll go have lunch on a Thursday, and it's actually been really nice. Even though it's only an hour and a half or whatever out of the month, it's nice just to have just the two of us, and we talk about goals or dreams or what's coming up and all the things.
Do you have any like rules around it, like no phones, no talking about the kids or anything like that, or you just like free for all, whatever
No, I
comes
think it depends on the day. I mean, I'm a big fan of no phones at the table.
Yeah.
But when we're out like in a situation like that, a lot of times it's planning stuff. So it's like, okay, we want to go to Duluth, and what days are we going to go to Duluth? Okay, this is, we want to do a train ride to Duluth. Okay, we got to look them up, that kind of thing. So we might have our phones out for logistical stuff. But for the most part, I would prefer, we don't really have any like set rules. It's more of just, us kind of reconnecting.
Yeah, no, I love that. Like I said, we're terrible at it, but we're trying to get better. And it really is, or what we've noticed is like, if we put something in the calendar, it's like so much easier. And I know that doesn't sound like fun or spontaneous or whatever, but our whole life, I feel like, is, like the spontaneous part. So having something like in the calendar, I feel like I look forward to it. I know that he'll be like focused at it. Like it's not, just like a random one-off. Like I really like it, or have liked it so far. So, but yeah, I like putting it in the calendar. And I haven't wanted to do that for the longest time, but we just started, and I think it's helpful. Helpful.
Well, and I think it's hard for you guys too because you do spend so much time together. You're in the truck all the time. So, I mean, I can imagine too, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, do you know your love language? I mean, if quality time is like your love language, then it might be, you really have to schedule it. If it's, acts of service or something, well, you're like the queen of acts of service, considering you make our men breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That definitely counts as acts of service. But Matt and I are both of our love languages are words of affirmation. Do you know what yours is?
So I like give it and take it differently. So taking it, I am like quality time and physical touch. And physical touch as in like the little one, like hand holding or like, like helping, which this is going to sound so weird because I feel like I say like I want to rule the world or like I am like a boss and I 100% feel like an epic boss, but like I do love being taken care of. So like those little touches that's like, oh, Brittany, come this way, or like grab my hand like you're going the wrong direction, or like, like pulling out your chair, like anything like that. Like I feel like it's like a nice thing. Like that's how I feel it. But I think I give it like acts of service for sure. Or like,
and you are a boss, babe. You're a total boss, babe.
I feel like
cut yourself down.
Yeah, like I feel like it, but I feel like sometimes when you say things like that, like people think that you're like, your love language shouldn't be like a needy thing. And for me, like it is, like it's like a need, like I need like physical touch and quality time. Like it's a must. 100%.
Oh, I don't think it's bad. I mean, I know that mine is words of affirmation. So there'll be days where I'll be like, I will call Matt and I'll be like, I need a pep talk. Like, give me a pep talk. And he is the best. I'm like, okay, that was perfect. That's exactly what I needed.
Because I am a boss. I can do this. Because it's different coming from like the person that you trust the most in the world. Like it really is. Even though everyone says like, oh, you're supposed to say that. Well, they are, but I feel like a lot of people don't. So it's nice when they do.
Yes.
But no, that's good. I like the scheduling. So what is your funniest / scariest memory that you guys have together? And I say scariest because Bobby had some pretty scary ones, so it doesn't have to be scary, but just like the one that sticks out the most in your mind.
I don't know. I mean, I think... Oh...
And you guys have probably had a lot.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a few days that really always stand out in my mind. I mean, the day we got married, and then I think the days we had the boys, and then so those are like the three big ones, and then that's not scary or funny. Well, I mean, birth could be scary.
I was about to say yes, it is.
Yeah. And then I'd say the other big memory I have, is as last year when he won his tournament in lacrosse. Those are kind of the big. I don't have anything funny. I mean, maybe we're not funny people. Maybe I just like filter those out.
You probably are. But I feel like some of the funny things, it's like in the moment funny, and then you just like keep moving on, like the Heimlich or that garlic farmer. Like they're in the moment, but like I may or may not remember them next year, But like it was like I'll be like, me and Matt are sitting and I'm like, garlic. Like it was just so funny. But I feel like it's like in the moment funny.
Yeah.
So best piece of advice that you have for couples, new couples, and I guess people coming into this, because you have been doing it for so long.
So I think if you are new, if you're a
like
new couple,
especially new couples that have two careers, like you guys do have two separate careers.
Yeah.
Well, it's like a together business, like it is. You both have things, in separate places.
Yeah. Oh, and we've got more than what I listed. I mean, when Matt first started fishing, he fished full time and he worked full time downtown Chicago, and he used all of his vacation days for his fishing tournaments. I think he would leave like one for me to like have Christmas with my family or something, right? So I think I think a lot of people think it's really easy. They're like, oh yeah, it's just fishing, you know, or whatever. But it's a lot of work. I mean, it's a lot of, you know, it's preparation for the tournaments, not just equipment, but it's mental preparation. It's knowing, you know, it's map study. I mean, holy cow, the hours that Matt has put in looking at Google Maps or, you know, at charts for like the water, you know, quality or, you know, whatever it might be. There's a lot of work. There's a lot of work for sponsors. And I think it's also, if it's what you want to do and if you're willing to put that time in, it will turn out for you, you know, and just to kind of keep chugging away. But it's not a guarantee. You know, you have to continue to work at it.
Yeah, I think that's a good piece of advice, that it's not a guarantee, because it isn't. And it also, I mean, it is still, it's a professional sport. So it's like skill plus tons of research and tons of time and tons of sacrifice, you know, all rolled into one. So I do feel that is like, for sure, like you have to have all of the attributes, which is insane. It's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, the skill has to be there. If you don't have the skill, you're not going to compete with these guys because they are good, you know, and there's also a lot of mental.
You have to have like your own brand too. Like it's, I mean, which is obviously like Stefan, like amazing that he had the forethought to like start his basically own brand like years and years ago. So he just does so well with that. But like now a lot of people are trying to play catch up because that was never even a part of the industry, you know, for years ago when it was like teams and stuff like that. So like all of the parts have to come together. Like it's crazy.
Yeah. And you're right, the brand thing, you do kind of have to create your own brand. And Matt, I mean, Brittany's referring to, my husband has a pretty popular YouTube channel under his name. Just go look it up. Subscribe. Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe, comment.
Yeah. If you want to learn how to bass fish, he will teach you how to bass fish, right? One video every day. But he did that initially because he wanted to fulfill sponsor obligations, right? So it was, he was like, oh, I should probably do this. And then it just became like its own monster. It's a self-fulfilling, you know, prophecy almost at this point where it's like, okay, well now I got to keep doing it, but now it's paying off, and it, you know, and it's that's also a lot of work. So the fishing is one part, you know, but then it's the sponsors and it's the YouTube and it's the tackle and, you know, all the stuff.
On the back end, it's just a lot.
Yeah.
So we talked a little bit about your sons, but give me the rundown. So it's Hank and Duke, 8 and 5.
8 and 6. So they both just had birthdays in July. So Hank, yeah. So Duke turned 6 earlier this month. Duke just turned 8 on Sunday. So we have a almost first grader and an almost third grader, and they are definite boys.
Through and through. Yeah, the first time I ever met, it actually is surprising, but it was Duke that I first met, and he came running out buck naked, screaming on the top of the loft, "Hey!" And if you understood their personalities, Hank would have been the one doing that, and Duke definitely wouldn't have. So it is very funny that was my intro to them, and I love that. I'll forever, because Matt does the same thing. He's just older, but boys do not change. They are who they are, but they're awesome.
Yeah, you definitely have the personalities right. Duke is very reserved. He's very quiet and shy, and Hank will get out there. He will just run. He's adventurous. He loves sports. You know, Hank, I'm surprised. I do remember that, and I think I remember being like, Duke, get back here. But
I was like, hey, what's up? It was awesome walking into our red grass house. That was like the best. Matt was like, yep, we're good. Like, they're fabulous. But it's cool that their personalities are so dynamic. Like, just like a random story. Like I had those, or we were sitting out, and like I feel like Duke well, I can't remember if the power went out or what it was, but like Duke was like more methodical and like, where are the flashlights? You know, like, where are the exits? We need to lock this door because it's like blowing open. And Hank was like, can I run out in the rain? Basically, like, let's play cornhole in the storm or whatever it was that was happening. But it was like two totally different ends of the spectrum, but like both very perfect and like thoughtful in their own sectors of life. Like, it's so crazy how, you can birth two totally different humans.
Yeah.
And
And
they
they
get
were only born, they're only 13 days apart on the calendar year. So you
yeah.
would think horoscope wise, but they are two
Are
different
you a
they're,
horoscope person? Do you look at those?
I mean, kind of a little. I actually have had horoscope readings done for the
Yeah.
boys, um, which is not just like reading in your paper. It's
Yeah.
looking at a chart. Have you ever done this? I mean, an astrology reading where you like know exactly when time you're born and where you're born, and the chart shows you the stars and the moons and all the planets at that exact time at the exact time you were born. So
No, I haven't done it
yeah,
like that, but I like periodically will look up mine just to see like what it says. And I do find it super interesting that like so I'm a Scorpio, but like I'm a water sign, and I 100% like get that because I feel like the most at peace and like at home or whatever, like close to the water. And I was literally just telling like Matt's, with his friend Nolan right now, and I was just telling Nolan that like if I get too far from the water, like I am a weirdo. Like I should not be far from the water at all. I don't know what it is, but I just don't feel right if I'm not. And so I like wonder if it all, coincides with all of that stuff. But that's funny. I didn't know that about you.
yeah.
Yeah, mine definitely stemmed from 17 magazine, though. You remember that they were in there? You can like flip through and look
Oh
at
yeah. Oh yeah. No, this is much more methodical. It's really cool. I mean, I did it for the boys because I wanted to know how to better parent them.
Oh
You know,
yeah.
so like I know that Hank responds better to instead of like yelling, he responds better to like and he and I have it gets a little kooky, but he and I have a karmic connection. Hank and I do.
Oh,
Like we go back many many lives, supposedly. And so Hank will do anything not to screw up in front of people.
yeah.
That is one of his biggest things. He does not like people to see him do things wrong, right? Whereas Duke, his primary objective in this life is to learn how to work in groups, right? So that's one of his biggest challenges, which makes sense because he will play by himself
Yeah, he's
like a
very.
champ. Like he could be by himself. He doesn't
He's just
mind,
content.
but
I was about to say he's absolutely content in his own little space.
yeah, yeah, but like if you put him in a group or like in a school classroom, like his teacher knows like he gets like this she gets the side eye and she's like I know he knows the answer. He just
Yeah.
won't tell me the answer, because he just doesn't like he just
He
in
doesn't want
group we're
to.
not his thing.
Yes, he just doesn't want to.
Yeah, yeah.
I like that though. Well, so as far as both of them, do you think either one of them will follow the same path as Matt? Or would you encourage it?
Um I will encourage whenever they feel called to do in life. Like if it is a real estate agent, great. If it's well, I shouldn't say that. I mean, they got to do something in life. There's got to be some ambition there.
Yeah, some activity.
But I mean, if either one of them at this point in time, if we had to put money on one of them being a fisherman, it would be Hank.
Yeah.
Right. For sure, through and through. And I think he would probably love it, and he would probably be really, really good at it. And thinking 20 years down the line, or 15, I mean, who knows what the sport of bass fishing is going to be at that point, right? I mean, it's, right now it's already kind of getting a little like, whew, out there. It's getting a little weirder in the last few years.
It's definitely different. And I do feel like, I mean, as like the world changes, all sports are going to change. So it's just like, we can't predict any of that. Matt's just like, I can't worry about all of that. You just gotta go catch more bass. That's all he says. Obviously, hat included, but he really is just like, I'm just not gonna worry with it. It'll come. But yeah, like it'll be interesting in the future, and I think it'll be interesting to see if family follows family too, or if seeing it from their perspective wards them on or off, kind of as they change. But
Yeah, and there's a lot of father-son combos. This year, there's a ton of father-son combos,
yeah.
or, and just in the past too. I mean, even Spencer, one of the other
Yep.
housemates. I mean, his dad was in it, and he's in it, and there's a lot of legacy in the sport of fishing too.
For sure. I think it does, like, regardless of if you travel or don't travel, I think it makes the families closer. And I know that sounds weird because they're gone, but I do think when they're home, they're like able to be present. And because they're so singularly passionate, I do think like time spent with family on the boat, it isn't like time spent like video gaming or like, it's you're kind of together, if that makes sense. Like your brain has to work together. But
Yeah.
obviously I don't have kids, so I wouldn't know from that perspective, but just like outsider looking in at lots of different family units, like I do feel like it, the quality time is better than if it was
Yeah.
just 9 to 5 dad.
I tell, I say that to Matt all the time because he gets so upset when he's not upset, but he's just bummed when he's gone. And I tell him, like, there's pros and cons to being gone. Like, yeah, we hate it. We don't want you gone all the time. And at the same time, it challenges us. It has to make us better humans and a better family at home because we have to be able to communicate. We have to be able, to overcome challenges. We have to figure out timing or, whatever it might be. So when we then, yeah, so I think being away, it's kind of like that distance makes your heart grow fonder, that saying.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it really is when you have a challenge that's placed in front of you, you have to overcome it. You have to grow from it. So I think having the challenge of Matt not always being here does help us be better in the long run in many facets of our lives.
Yeah, I think so too. So, a prior guest, she asked this question, and I really like it, but it's loaded. So, just beware. But have you gotten what you wanted to out of this life? And if you haven't, do you have plans to? And I know it's kind of loaded because you should never stop building, but like in life as a human, do you 100% feel like you have gotten everything out of it?
Um, yes, hold on.
See here?
No, I thought I heard something and I was like, what? Um, that is a very loaded question, and I would hope that no one would answer that they've gotten everything out of life already, right?
Yeah.
Because I feel like we should always have things to strive towards and other goals to reach.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to continue to work on being a better mother, a better support person for Matt, and there's definitely things that I haven't done in life that I would like to do more of. Traveling, I would love to travel more, but the way our life is set up right now, I can't really do that.
Like in the US or out of the US?
Both. I mean, I would love to go to Machu Picchu. I
Yes,
would love to
and
go to
hike.
Italy.
Yeah,
I would love to even just get back up to Alaska. I have a lot of friends in Alaska. I'd love to get back up to Alaska and see them. But yeah, I think what I've gotten out of life so far has definitely been awesome. I think I've learned a lot of lessons. I think motherhood has taught me a ton. I try to continue to work on myself. Like I've done a lot of personal seminars and read lots of books, and so I kind of continue to work on me personally, like who I am being. But I think I want to continue to strive to be a better person, just in general.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. When she asked that question, that's what I was thinking. Like, I don't know how I would answer it as far as I don't think I have gotten everything out of life because I want to suck everything I can out of life while we have this one chance to live it, right? Like, so I want to absorb everything. I used like when I asked you about who you wanted to be when you were younger or what you thought your life would be like when I was a little kid, I don't know why I thought the way that I did, but I still think the way I did when I was a kid. And I used to say, like, I want to go everywhere and meet everyone and make the world as small as possible. And I, like, still think that to this day. Like, I feel like that. Like, I want to just suck life for everything that it possibly is, like, can give me. So I agree. I feel like you shouldn't ever want to have gotten everything out of it yet because then what are you living for? Like,
Yeah.
which obviously is a very like daunting thing to say, but still, like, I think you can be content with where you are, too, and be excited. But I 100% agree. Like, I don't ever want to feel like I've done it all
Yeah.
until I'm, ready to leave the earth, I guess.
Right.
But
We got some years,
yeah,
hopefully.
yeah, for sure. Knock on everything holy that happens. But yeah, I for sure, I love life. Like, there's too many good things, and there's too much you can add to your list to do. Like, there's so much in this life. But yeah,
Yeah.
traveling's at the top of mine all the time. Cause how am I supposed to meet everybody if I don't travel?
You manifested that traveling and the ability to meet people though, man. You've got it set up perfect.
I know. It's so funny because like my life has just been so weird and crazy and like really like windy, but I that has been something like I have 100% stuck true to. Like when I was broke as can be and would travel and just sleep in tents or sleep in a hammock, to now being able to like sleep in an Airbnb like a bed, and do all that. But it's just been like one thing that's 100% stuck true like through my whole life. Meet everybody, go everywhere.
Absolutely.
Regardless of financing. So, kind of back like what I was asking about new couples. There's a lot of new moms in the industry right now. And some of them that are planning to travel, but some of them that definitely can't. And I know that there's probably a lot of pressure both ways. One, do you feel pressure to travel? And two, what's your best piece of advice to kind of curb that or make sure that that's not something you have to feel if you feel it?
Yeah. I do not feel the pressure to travel. I feel a desire to travel. It doesn't really work out most of the time.
Yeah.
What I do instead is I try to do everything I can to make Matt's life as easy as possible when he's away, and also when he's home. Like I try to help him prepare and do as much as I can and really kind of manage the household here so that he can focus on what he needs to focus on. So a piece of advice for moms who might not be traveling, because I don't have advice for the moms who are traveling, right? Because that's not me.
Right.
Uh,
Well, and
but
that's why I ask because I know some moms who they had traveled, but now they cannot travel. And so they're feeling, in the middle, I guess, about it. So that's why
yeah,
I ask.
yeah. I, gosh, how do I put this into words? I try to manage Matt's. I try to manage what Matt knows about what's going on at home while he's gone, so that he doesn't have to worry about things.
Yeah.
Like if something's happening, I may not tell him. Like there was this one time when he's probably like 2, and he fell down the stairs. It was like he like slid down the stairs,
Oh no.
and his mom was here, and he was fine, right? I mean, he was fine, but I didn't tell Matt, and I don't think he found out for like 6 months. He's like, "Why didn't you tell me?" And I was like, "You didn't really need to know.
Yeah,
Like, you
it was
didn't need to
not
know. You didn't need to have it be a worry." So I try to just make sure that the communication we have with Matt is positive, encouraging, and that I'm not burdening him with things that he doesn't need to know about, so that he can really just focus. Because that's the thing with these guys, they focus. I mean, it's not easy what they do, and having support behind them makes it that much easier. And I think a lot of guys who don't do well are the ones potentially that don't have the support behind them,
Yeah.
to make it happen long term.
I agree. We always talk about, and obviously, like, mental load has been like a trigger word across all social media lately, but it is that, like, it's actually, it blows my mind, like, how much they have to interpret to do their job well, like, to fish well. So having a ton of other stuff to also interpret is insane. And obviously, you guys have Core Tackle, a tackle business as well. So, like, Matt also has those. So just, like, having the relief on the home front is probably like second to
Yeah.
none key.
Yeah. Well, and I don't typically do a whole lot with core tackle, but we also own a commercial property here in town too. So there are times when I'm tasked to do things for our commercial property when Matt is gone that I don't necessarily want to do, but I'll do because I know it's going to help him.
Yeah. Yep. Which is so crazy. So you guys, I mean, obviously, people have probably picked up on this, but you have a business. They own some real estate. They own a tackle company. Matt has his YouTube channel that he does a video every single day for. They have 2 boys and are trying to also have a relationship with each other. And he also travels for a living. So if we want to round all that out and also make time for extended family vacations, all of the jazz. So when I say you're doing a great job, you are doing a hugely great job in all avenues, because I really and I feel like that, like I don't know how you do it, but I am glad that you do, because I'm glad that we have him a part of the house. I'm glad that I got to meet you and your boys.
Yes.
But it is like, that is a very daunting thing. So I do feel like what you previously said, people coming into it, it's not easy. It's a lot. And you can attest to this more than I can. Like, I feel like a single girlfriend sometimes. You probably feel like a single mom sometimes, because it is that, especially during tournament time. So someone actually just asked me, like, what is my piece of advice for someone new? And I told them very bluntly, you have to be independent. Like, there is no way around that. You have to be able to be independent and be very comfortable in that, because they can't give it to you all the time as far as attention or like help with your mental load. It's very opposite, I feel like. So I feel like that's like the hardest part. And you probably feel the same way. I don't know the mom side of it. Like, I could only imagine, but me and Matt have talked about that, because obviously, like, kid conversations and all of that, like, and you would be a single mom. I mean, it is, there's no way around it. You are a single mom a majority of the time, I feel like.
Well, thank you for the praise there. I appreciate that. I don't think I'm necessarily like anything special. I just love my husband, and I love what he does, and I love our life, and want to continue to be able to live it.
Yeah. Well, I think you do a phenomenal job.
Thank you.
Yes. And I'm super excited. Like, hopefully we see you guys again soon and have the whole clan in a big house. That would be awesome.
Yes.
Okay, so we are going to take a break, but we are actually going to close down part 1 of this, and then we're going to have Sara back on for part 2, because as you guys probably heard at the beginning, she has someone dropping a boat off, and I have 2 guys floating around in the lake right now that I have to go pick up. So last question before you leave. If we had a WAGs fishing tournament, wives and girlfriends fishing tournament, which wife or girlfriend do you think would win?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I know,
Not me.
It's such a loaded question, but I think it'd be so fun. Like, I mean, you know, down the line, if I could integrate that into Red Crest, like, hands down, put us on like a little local pond, not even with a boat. Like, I think if we just like walked around it and just tried to catch the biggest, it would be so fun. So
it would be fun.
Maybe in the future we'll do that. But thank you seriously for taking the time, and I'm sorry we're gonna have to cut it in the middle, but it'll be part 1 and part 2 for everyone watching back. And I'll do your question for the next guest in the part 2.
Perfect.
Yes, so we'll do all of that. But everyone else, thank you for this episode or watching this episode. You guys know I love all of these women. I love their stories. It takes me a little while, obviously, to get deep dive, but I never want it to be like a short interview, because I think you guys are so dynamic. Like, I want them to be able to meet y'all and truly meet you and hear your backgrounds, because no one really does that in our industry, as far as the other half and how the heck these
I agree.
do, right? Like, there's no there's no emphasis on how.
We are the reason they are successful, and we don't get enough credit. God darn it.
I know, dang it! Like, but it is. I mean, if they didn't have the support system, like you said, I don't think that they would be nearly as successful. So I think that we should shine light on this side. So thank you for being here. You guys know, one episode a week every Thursday. Follow the Instagram channel. It's at Random Kitchens Podcast if you want updates on whether I'm really good and post on time or whether I'm really not and it ends up being a couple days late. All of that's there. Subscribe if you haven't yet to follow along, and we'll see you next time. Bye.